Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I would love to welcome all of you in that session prepared and presented by the Family Counseling Center. The title is Youth Mental Health Issues, Answering the Most Serious Questions. As you all know, we had two sessions before about the Muslim families' challenges and solutions, also with in an Islamic perspective. We had two sessions, wonderful, very interactive. A lot of questions were raised up, and I did my best to answer all of them. Today, we're going to use the same approach to solicit some questions from all of you to answer. Until you prepare your questions, I'm going to go ahead and have an introduction to this topic. The mental health issue is one of the most serious issues ever worldwide. And here in America in particular, and even within the Muslim community, it is getting more serious, and it is time now to answer those most serious questions related to mental health issues. In that way, I'll be utilizing that very non-conventional approach I've been using for so many years in my counseling as a psychotherapist. We look at the comprehensive psychosocial and communicative dynamic approach, and we'll be utilizing the Islamic perspective in that issue. And having those issues facing the family Muslims in America or in West in general, answering those serious questions about what is going on mentally, psychologically, and emotionally with our youth, it might help us to overcome some of those problems our youth are facing. One of the main reasons, actually, I decided to tackle this topic, what we have seen and experienced recently in our community, within 1 year, we have seen 4 cases where those who are involved in raise red flags for us to deal with the youth mental health issues. One case, for instance, people in here, our community, found out about a lady who was found dead in the Mississippi River. We do not know exactly what happened, the reason behind this, what would be related to that victim, where the community found her in the Mississippi River. It was very, very sad. A lot of agony and sadness and grief. How come a young lady, Muslim young lady, to be found dead at the Mississippi River? A lot of questions were raised. Is it a suicide? Did she commit suicide? There was some kind of reason behind it. We do not know for sure. We have no idea exactly what happened. It is just speculations, and some people are just sharing some ideas and even some gossip behind what happened, so we're not sure. But it was a very serious issue, and it was sad to find out about that young lady who was found dead in the Mississippi River. The other incident was actually a young man, age of 18. He was killed by some friends. We knew the reasons behind it, were aware of what happened. They were together, that Muslim kid, guy, with the non-Muslims. They were in drug dealing, and they were disputing about the money they can share. So the three of them decided to get rid of that Muslim kid. They killed him right away. And it was really, really unfortunate. Where he was killed, it was only 1 block behind the business his family owned. And again, to bring another victim to our community from within the youth who was killed by some other guys because of that issue, that problem, of that challenge they have, drug dealing and money, and so on and so forth. A few months later, there was another Muslim kid, but he was killed almost the same age, 17, by another Muslim kid. And it was again the drug issues and the money, and they were in a dispute how they divide the money among them. So this other Muslim guy killed the second one and dragged him to a ditch and left him to die. Third victim in here dealing with our youth. Whatever the reasons behind that killing or that death, whether it is obvious, it is very clear, or is unknown, but again, we're losing another member of our youth community and our Muslim community. The fourth one just happened a few months later, where a young man, no indication, no obvious reasons, nothing to share with his siblings or with his parents, nothing has been identified with him, what is wrong, whether he was depressed or suicidal or having some mental health issues. He ended up going to North Memorial Hospital. He went there and he locked himself in the bathroom and he shot himself in the head, committing suicide. Again and again, mental health issues with our youth, with our young ones. What were the reasons? I'm not sure. What's happening? We have no clue. But we see within a year 4 victims. One at the Mississippi River dead, drug dealer was killed by his other ones, and another Muslim kid was killed, also involved in drug dealing by another Muslim, and then now a young man committed suicide and killed himself. No doubt the community is in shock. No doubt we have seen some people raising questions. What is happening to our youth? What is going on? What are the reasons behind what is going on? And are we aware? First, parents aware of what's happening. Family members aware of what's happening. Siblings, brothers and sisters, extended family members, our spiritual leaders in their masajid, in their centers, or the community at large. What is going on? What's happening? We have no enough evidence, enough reasons, clear speculations about what's happening, what's going on, in order to point out if these are the reasons behind what happened, we can do our best to avoid those reasons or deal with what is happening, what's going on. We can help, we can educate, we can instruct, we can find a way of supporting our youth not to go through what I have explained to you. Are these the only 4 cases in our community? This is what we have seen. If there are any other cases we're not aware, I'm sure there are many. How we can be aware of what's going on, how we can find out, how parents could help, how siblings could help still, how professionals in the field, they can figure out and they can say, here are some reasons, be careful, here are some issues we have to deal with, here is the educational part we can share with parents and siblings, here is some indication that youth or those people are visiting with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or psychotherapist or mental health profession in order to help them. We're not sure. We do not know what to do. So that's why it is one of the reasons actually we decided to have that session discuss with all of you and to raise those questions and find out what is going on. I can share with you one case in details. I have dealt with, as a psychotherapist, I've dealt with the person himself as well as the family. As you remember when I said, my approach to look at that non-conventional way of dealing with the issues in a comprehensive way to deal with the psychosocial and communicative dynamic approach and put it in an Islam perspective. This is exactly what I have done with that case. It was years and years ago when a sister of that brother called me saying that her brother is suffering from the following. One, dropped his high school diploma, didn't finish it, never go to any education anymore, suffering from insomnia, he does not sleep really well. For so many years, they have been trying to find out what is wrong with him, what is going on, what should be done, and so on and so forth. Took him to a psychiatrist who prescribed some medication, antidepressant medication, because that person is suicidal. First time it didn't work, so the psychiatrist has to increase the dose in order to help. It doesn't help. Reduce the dose, it doesn't help. You change the medication, doesn't help. Add another medication, it doesn't help. Still the same symptoms, the same suffering, the same everything. So the family was about to give up. Yet that 22-year-old, can you imagine, from the age of 17 till he reached 22, is suffering. And that suicidal issue raised that red flag to all of them. If our brother, if our son commits suicide, what are we going to do? How are we going to help? So when the sister called and said, can we find out what should be done? She read about me and my approach and my ways of dealing with things, and she said to her family, he could be the one who can help us. I say, okay, would you bring him in? And to make the story short, to know more and more and more about that wonderful Muslim youth, what is going on in his life. And again, my approach, which would be with a heavy emphasis on the Islamic perspective, I choose it to be done this way, to find out the relationship between that man and his parents, dad and mom, on one side, with his siblings, brothers and sisters, with his extended family members, both sides, and with his friends around, with himself, his relationship with himself. A lot of people will be wanting to say, what do you mean by his relationship with himself? Yeah, how he is dealing with a lot of things with himself, and how we handle things, how we can take those challenges and problems seriously and seek for some help, and so on and so forth. And finally, his relationship with God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in terms of religion, how he is committed to his deen, in practice, and in believing, and so on and so forth. When the family was about to give up, this is what they have shared with me, saying that with the psychiatrist issue, with the drugs, and with dealing with some other psychologists and psychotherapists and people to help in that field, we did not reach any solution. We did not come up with anything to help our youth, our son, our brother. The mom decided to go through another approach, thinking this would be a good idea, this would be a good approach, this would be a wonderful means to help that young man to overcome the challenges he had. Till the point, she was willing, and actually she did, with her saving of money, she had to sell her jewelry in order to save some money for trips to go along with her son to different places. And the places she went to, from here, from America, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, she went to Canada, she went to Damascus, Syria, she went to Cairo, Egypt, she went to Sana'a, Yemen, and she went to Mogadishu in Somalia. Came back to the United States of America. With all of those cities and countries she visited, she thought if her son would be treated by a sheikh, by imam, by someone who is aware of what has been known as ruqya, or reading Quran, some verses of the Quran, to that child, he will be totally cured, he will be totally treated. Why? Because the mom and the family thought that, that young man has been touched by the jinn, mess of the jinn. So with that jinn issue, it would cause all of these problems, as long as all of those professions in the psychiatric field, in the psychological, mental, did not help or could not help. So this would be the only way, we have to help our son to be cured. That was really unfortunate. None of those people they visited with were able to provide him with a full treatment. So they lost money, time, energy, and almost giving up. Coming to me and telling me and sharing with me, here's what happened, here's what is going on, what we can do. And of course, it took me a while to find out more and more about those several relationships between that young man and his family members, to find out, what is missing, what kind of relationship did not go in the normal way, and what went wrong. What ties that young man has again and again with his parents, with his siblings, family members, extended family members, both sides, friends and classmates previously, and neighbors, and with himself and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Took us a while till I found out that the main problem, the main issue, that almost no communication whatsoever between that young man and his father. That young man and his father. How it happened, why it happened. That family was able to come to here to the United States of America as refugees along with their mom. For some reason, dad, father couldn't make it. So instead of coming to here along with his family to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to the United States of America with that status of being a refugee, he went to one of the European countries. Why it didn't happen for him to come to here could be some reasons. But anyhow, he ended up not coming here and stayed in Europe. There in Europe, whether he gave up not being able to come to here, or there is no need to keep struggling and striving to come. Maybe he tried his best, but he couldn't. So ended up marrying another lady in that European country and had 3 kids with her. So 3 kids back with him in that country, European country, and his wife here in America, along with 7 kids, including that one, that young man. So I found out that if we do our best to fix that relationship between that son and his father, it might help somehow to bring both of them together. So that missing father, not caring father, a father not looking after him and his mom and his siblings, that misconnectedness, that missing that father figure within the family, far away, and no communication whatsoever, by the way, during those years. Not even picking up the phone, the dad, and say, how are you doing, my wife? How are my children doing? How this and how that? No communication whatsoever. So I thought, following my approach to have that miscommunication fixed. But how can you have that miscommunication fixed? First between the family members and the dad, for the wife and dad, and that particular youth with the dad. For the mother, when it comes to knowing that he's married to another lady and have 3 kids, it's extremely difficult, for some wives to take that issue easily and lightly, saying that he didn't come and now he's married and having kids from the second marriage and did not care about us at all. It took us a while, to reconcile this issue. And I was able to handle this situation somehow at the beginning in order to pave the road for that son to communicate with his dad. How long did it take? I don't have to tell you, but it took a while. For the son and dad, dad wasn't even willing to communicate with me personally. And calling him at that European country, leaving messages, trying to communicate with him, to explain to him what's going on, how he would be instrumental in helping the family, what is going on with his son, 3 months, till finally we were able to communicate, the dad and myself. When I explained to him lightly what is going on, what's happening, he sounded not to care that much. But once I explained to him more serious issues, more serious problems, especially when it comes to the 4 girls, his 4 daughters, along with the 3 brothers, including that brother who's suffering the most. He started kind of being aware of what is going on, and now I can, understand. So he was able to say, yes, I can communicate with any family members. It was his wife, though it was extremely difficult, but at least there was kind of communication. Some other sons, yes, somehow, just like, hi, hello, how are you doing, this and that. But when it comes to that particular son, it was extremely difficult for him to communicate with dad. It took us a while to counsel both of them, to at least say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, that's it. Or, how are you? Or, how's going? Or, how's this and that. So anyhow, it took us a while, but we had that communication done between the son and the dad, till the point they reach out to speak really well, and both of them in one situation were in tears. The dad felt that he did not do a good job toward his family, his wife, his children, and especially that son. And the son, missing his dad, never communicate with him, never have that parenthood, that father who does care, and so on and so forth. We were able to intensify that communication more and more and more and more with the rest of the family members, till the point the family were even willing to apply for him to come to America, even with having a second wife or with having some other children, if the laws of the land would allow such coming to the United States will take place. So they were working in that issue, and everyone felt that we can do a lot. As an outcome to this case, following that approach I'm having, and to find out what was missing, again and again, that son and his dad, the son along with the family, hear what they suffer, and he himself how they suffer, and the dad there does not care anymore, not being communicative way anymore, not caring or looking after his family anymore, but having this to rebuild, to be conciliated somehow. That kid, following that approach, helping as much as we can, whatever the time it took, made the outcome. Finished high school diploma, joined a college for a couple of years. After joining the college for a couple of years, 2 other years at the university, graduated from the university with a wonderful degree, willing to find someone to marry and be married, living a happy life along with his family members, along with his mom. No medication whatsoever anymore, no drugs, no antidepressant, no suicidal attempts, no nothing. As if, wallahi, when you're emphasizing that Islamic approach in a relationship between parents, here's your obligation, here's your responsibility toward your wife, toward your children, and you as a child, you as a son, or you as a daughter, here's your relationship, you've got to be done this way. You have to take care of, you have to find out, how Islam would help you in that situation, especially when it comes to that, the family structure and that relationship, it has to be rebuilt, has to be reconciliated somehow. I do not just follow what this is saying or what that is saying, but come back to those psychological, social, and communicative dynamics approach to have that well-being within the family, to never give up, and not to let any other factors negatively impacting your life till the point saying there is no way to do anything about those problems. Having that hope, Al-Aman, yeah, I can do this, I can relate to that, I can forgive him, and I am willing, to relate to him. He's the dad, and dad, you take care of mom, you take care of my siblings as well. That wonderful relationship, if you look at the deen in general, when you find out that it has been summarized in one word, ad-deen al-mu'amala, the deen of Islam, it's just the relationship, how to establish a good relationship. And of course, once you establish or re-establish that relationship, you'll be able to establish that wonderful relationship with you and God Almighty who created you as well. So this is one case I just wanted to share with you and to shed some light, about it. Do we have cases like this? We do. Do we have more serious than this, as I shared with you? Yes, we do. Do you have some cases till the point, we leave them alone till they are in drug dealing and money till it reaches the point of killing each other? We do in our community. Someone that we never figure out the reasons behind his suicide. It happened? Yes, it happened. The percentage in our community, we'll never know. It could be very, very high, beyond our imagination. It could be in the moderate way, or could be few. But I am sure it is a huge number, a huge number. The percentage here in America is getting worse and getting higher. And there is a lot of concerns about youth issues and the suicides and the depression. Our kids, our Muslim community, the same, different, lower, the same, higher, it is in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at least what we could do as Islamic centers, as people in that professional field, figure out and try to help as much as you can, as hard as you can. I will stop at that point and I will entertain some of your questions, either related to this case I just shared with you, or anything related to that issue of the mental health issues. I'm answering the most serious questions. So the floor is yours. Yes.
Brother, when these youth issues started to pop up and there were people getting involved and communities wanted to throw money at the problem, and the community centers idea was popping up, we need a place for the youth to go to play basketball and to have all these activities. In my opinion, after hearing the story you just told, a community center wouldn't help this brother at all. And what do you think, is that an overall answer, or is that just a quick band-aid to try to find a solution to a problem that runs much deeper than just finding something for kids to do?
That's a wonderful question, and as you said it elegantly, a place, a mosque, a community center, the way it is now in America, I would say, it won't help tackle those issues, mental health issues. Tell me, to be honest, how many of our imams are trained enough in that area of mental health issues? How much of knowledge they do have in order to intervene, in order to help, in order to direct, or even in order to delegate or to refer. Still some with us in here, and that lady, that mom did, thinking any unusual behavior with any of our kids, it is a mess of the shaitan. It is the touch of the shaitan. It is satanic things happening to them. So the only thing you got to do, take that person to a sheikh and imam, read Quran on him, read ruqya on him or her, and pay a lot of money, by the way. This is now a business. Here, it's a business. Okay? And to find out about, what is going on, and if there any cure, if there are any ways of dealing with that issue. I can share with you 2 cases when it comes to that issue, and now the place and the community center, can they help, can they do anything? One case recently, I was on my counseling session, and I found out the door is knocked. I got to stand up and open and see what is going on, say hello, say assalamu alaikum, say wa alaikum salam, and they said, I am such and such, and here's my brother, and here's my dad, and we're driving, coming from St. Cloud to come and see you. And this is in regarding what? And he said, regarding my brother, who quitted school, and he has bizarre behavior. We do not know how to deal with it. Sometimes he would try to commit suicide, and we do not know what to do. And Dad has communicated with a friend of his in Portland, and in Portland, that friend told him, why you go far away? You have someone in Minneapolis who is specialized in this area, and go, here's his phone number, communicate with him, go and see him. And it happened to be me. And he said, that's why we came to you, in order to help us in here. I said, okay, I do have another counseling session, give me a few minutes, just have a seat. Once I'm done, and I'll meet with you. Once I'm done, I meet with the dad and the son and the other son, trying to have any communication with son, no communication whatsoever. Extended my hand, say hello, assalamu alaikum, nothing. No smile on the face, nothing. It just keep wondering, keep looking in a very, very weird way. I check with them how long it has been going on. 6 months. With this, yes. How's he sleeping? How is he eating?